everybody, this is Bebon, and I'm here to bring you a Dota commentary. This is a pro Dota commentary. This is the grand finals of the Battle for Masters tournament. This features Nirvana, OK.Nirvana Int versus MYM Meet Your Makers. So, let's get right into it. This is an AP remake of a Captain's Mode ban. I'm unsure at the moment what the bans are. I know Shadow Demon was banned, I know that Solo Bear was banned. But since this is an AP remix. Alright, this is a remake, so I'll try to find out that information for you, but it might be a long time coming. I might have to check Toby's cast of it or whatever to find out the full ban and pick information. I've seen parts of these games. I've seen parts of the grand finals, and they seemed really exciting. I didn't watch all of it because I thought, hey, might as well try to catch the series, and this is a good series to do it. This is a best of 5 series, and right now this is game 1, so the score is 0-0. So on the Scourge side, we have Fear on Lucifer, we have LC Wimmy, or Come With Me on Crystal Main, we have 1437 on Omni Knight, Universe on Ancient Apparition, and Control X and Control V Lacoste on the Weaver. And so the player I've been saying on all my casts, like, oh, I really want to cast this series of games because that's my favorite player. That was actually the USA vs Croatia match, but I decided not to cast that because it's kind of outdated now and there are new versions. This is 6.72C, by the way. But my favorite player in Dota is Control X and Control V or Lacoste because he plays similar roles to I do. He likes playing the long lane solo. He can do a lot. I think he's one of the most underrated European Dota players right now, and he's extremely consistent. Meanwhile, on the Sentinel side, we have my favorite team. Lacoste is my favorite player, but Nirvana Int is not my favorite team at the moment. My favorite team is MYM because they just have a very stable lineup. They come up with pretty interesting strats. They like to mix it up. They're not all Navi-ish, but they like to pick interesting heroes, and they usually do well. So we have Ava, who is a demon on the Invoker. We have Pusher Street on the Keeper of the Light. We have DBSH, who I think that's Playmate or Misery. I apologize. I'll get back to you on that. We have Mania on the Earthshaker, and we have King J on the Phantom Lancer. So right now we can see that obviously Sentinel wants to turtle, and with Earthshaker, Invoker, and Keeper of Light, they can turtle pretty hard. Meanwhile, Scourge wants to win this in the mid-game. They have Weaver, who's a strong mid-game carry. They have Ancient Apparition, who's a beast in teamfights. They have Doom, probably one of the strongest mid-game heroes of all time. And it's really interesting because in these games, Omni Knight has been a hot pick, or a hot ban. And Omni Knight, I believe, was first picked in this game. So Omni Knight is a really interesting hero in the mid 6.5 era. He was constantly perm-picked and perm-banned due to his repel, but I think now it's more of because he can chase really well, and with the introduction of Soul Ring, he won't really have any mana issues to spam his heal, his Purification nuke. So I'm gonna guess that DVSH is actually Playmate, and yeah, we'll just go with that for now. So Omni Knight will probably be in the solo lane, Weaver will probably be the long lane solo, and they'll probably do a tri-lane with Doom. Invoker is probably going to be mid. Keeper of the Light, and I know that the last pick for MYM, they had last pick, and they picked up the Phantom Lancer. I think they picked Keeper of the Light to counter the Omni Knight, and the natural carry to go with Keeper of the Light, his Phantom Lancer. Keeper of the Light can be an alright counter to Omni. I mean, Omni is a chasing hero with his degen aura. He usually gets phase boots. He usually has to chase for a while. He's a melee hero, and he's reliant on his mana. So Keeper of the Light's mana leak will be pretty effective when Omni Knight is chasing, and will drain a lot of the mana. So I'm going to guess that Bat Rider is going to solo top, and the tri-lane is going to be bot. So let's get into it. Sorry that I haven't been casting for a while, but I had shit to do, people to see, things to do, and etc, etc. But I am back, and I hope that you enjoyed this game. So let's see, the tri-lane's moving on to position. Demon is going back to Fountain. Interesting build, Blades of Attack. So he's obviously rushing phase boots. I guess this indicates that he's going for the Quas build. That is the health regen build. So he'll have a lot of lane staying presence, but he won't have as much base damage to harass his middle counterpart, which looks like it'll be the Omni Knight. So he's going to rely on his Quas in the salve to regen, and he's going to get a bit of extra attack damage with the Blazer attack, which obviously means he's rushing Phase Boots, which are a very popular choice on Invoker. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Pusher... Where are the wards? Pusher about the chicken, I think. Batrider has no wards. Looks like MYM is going in wardless. I mean, if they're going to have the Tri-Land bottom, Keeper of the Light and Earthshaker, with Earthshaker constantly roaming, I'm sure they probably won't have enough issues, or they won't have too many issues in dealing with ganks. There's not really a jungler here who's going to come out of the forest and just surprise rape all over your face, and it would not be very pleasant at all. But good thing there are no Enchantress or Chens in this game, so yeah, there's just a standard war here placed by Mania, overlooking the rune. They see Lacoste grabbing the invisibility rune. So, Lacoste is going to face this Tri-Lane. It's going to be interesting to see because Lacoste is one of the best long lane solos in Europe right now, and I think I can say this beyond a doubt. He is the top Clockwork Goblin in Europe, and if you don't agree with that, then fuck off. Now, if you don't agree with that, that's fine. It's just my opinion. I'm a Lacoste fanboy, but I do like MYM as a team. So, let's see what happens. I was really sad when Lacoste left MYM, but I guess it was for the best because he wasn't getting as much playing time, even though he had... I think there are too many similar roles. Playmate and Mizria could play the same role as Lacoste, and so that left a bottleneck of sorts. But that was at least 5 months ago, so let's get right into it. So the grand prizes of this tournament, the Battle of Masters tournament, is, I think, $3,000 for the winning team, maybe like $1,000 for the second place team, and $500 for the third place team. Excuse me. So right now we see off the bat that Demon is sort of... I mean, it's really early on, but Demon's winning the lane. But once Omni Knight gets a Soul Ring, he'll be able to stay and sort of harass Demon back. Meanwhile, I'm just going to call him Playmate for now. Playmate saying, fuck top lane, man. They're just going to give Doombringer free farm, and Batrider is going to try to get as much farm as he can in the jungle. So he'll be able to pick up some levels and some gold, but he has to be careful not to die to gnolls. And that was pretty close, if I'm to be perfectly honest. Meanwhile, Fear is going to free farm like a bitch. That wasn't really an appropriate term. He's going to free farm unimpeded and take all the creeps that he can, and Lacoste is going to be hated on by the Tri-Lane. PL was sort of a popular carry in the late 6.59 to 6.6 era by the Chinese, back when turtling was at its sort of peak. PL is probably one of the strongest late game heroes of all time. His ability to push everywhere, the ability to create a trillion images and just sort of overwhelm your team once he gets his Radiance and Diffusal Blade, etc., etc. But he's fallen out of favor quite recently. He had a couple of nerfs. He had a strength gain nerf, he had an illusion nerf, and it's just the fact that pushing seems to be much more prevalent in this version, where it doesn't give PL enough time to farm both the Vanguard and Radiance before all his Steer and possibly his base towers are pushed. So that's the reason why we haven't been seeing Phantom Lancer. But once he gets Vanguard and Radiance, he can farm up very quickly and become a pest extremely fast. So we see OK.Nirvana and cutting off this creep blade and gonna push this tower, as we see Crystal Main picking up a flying crew. So let's see who's gonna get the last hit on this tower. It's coming close, it's coming close, it's coming close. Fear gets the last hit on the tower, well done by Fear. So that's gonna help him probably pick up another Vanguard. Probably Radiance, because Radiance is a good guy. If you get Radiance faster than the Phantom Lancer, it can help dispel a lot of the damage. Meanwhile, we see Fear diving and managing to pick off Batrider, who left the jungle and came back top lane, but proceeded to die. I'm gonna guess he was at full HP, but they don't want to really give up this tower so easily. So Mania's gonna TP in and try to ward off the push at this moment, but eventually MYM's gonna find themselves that unless Invoker sort of completely dominates mid lane, MYM's and gets ridiculous from MYM's gonna find that they're gonna lose a lot of towers. I mean, Keeper of Light is extremely potent anti-push hero and is just a really strong support hero, but he's squishy as hell, and he can be focused easily. He has long range, but there's only so much one Gandalf the Wizard can do against the vast orc army. God, that was such a terrible nerd reference. Lord of the Rings. Anyway. Demon has 19.7, meanwhile Hamina has been keeping up pretty well. With this Soul Ring, he can get sort of as much farm as he wants. He's a 19.5. Looks like they're going to jump on Demon with the Smoke Gank. Crystal Lane Frost Noise with Demon with solid map awareness was staying on this side of the tower and just proceeded to go here. Meow. Right there. Right there. But with Mania sort of transitioning top to help Batrider ward off the push, it's going to give Lacoste a little bit more free farm. Lacoste has managed to pick up his farm with that early tower kill, and with 10 creep kills under his belt, he has picked up a Ring of Health, and we'll see what he goes for. He might rush a Vanguard, he might rush a Hood. I think rushing Hood would be more appropriate in this case. Batrider does a lot of magical damage. Invoker obviously does a lot of magical damage, Earthshaker. And early levels, PLs, all PLs damage is basically magical damage. God, I cannot speak today. But, and Keep of the Lights, Illuminate, 500 damage nuke. You definitely want a Hood for that, so I'm going to expect that this Ring of Health will be made into a Hood of Defiance. So we see Fear jungling, he has 19 creep kills, but he's already sort of close to his Vanguard. Let's check out his gold really quick. He's at 779 gold, so he's at 300 more gold for his Vanguard. And with that, I think he'll be okay until sort of the mid-game where PL might get stacked. I mean, Batrider won't be able to solo kill him. Batrider's just sort of scaring him off and try to do whatever he can just to sort of make up for his tough lane. This is really why I like Batrider, and I don't really like Batrider in the long lane because Batrider is sort of a conundrum. He's a ranged hero, but he needs to be up close to do all of his damage. He has extremely low attack range. He has a Firefly, which requires you to fly over the enemies and hit them a bunch of times. He has Sticky Napalm, which is good at chasing, but his low attack range makes it so that he has to be up and close. And, of course, his Flaming Lasso has a very short cast range. So it obviously makes for a balanced hero, but it doesn't really... I really don't like Batrider in a long lane, tri-lane. I mean, he can hold his own, but he's not really useful. I mean, if a support is good, he will just harass the Batrider back with the superior range, and the carry can come off, fire a couple physical hits, and sort of destroy Batrider. Let's whisper gently into Batrider's ear as they proceed to rape him beyond all other reasonable doubt. So, we're going to see a bottom push by the Scourge. Tower's still at pretty high health, and our Mania came in